Hi everybody, it's Dr. 𝒕𝒉𝒂𝒂, and today I want to talk to you about one of the very important subjects with regard to reproductive health, both for the mother as well as the unborn child. And this actually also applies to the father if we're trying to work on preconception health. And the topic is toxic exposure. And now toxins are everywhere in our environment. We're exposed to them through the air we breathe, the water we drink, through our foods, through industrial waste and industrial pollution, and the reality is whether it's pesticides, herbicides in our foods, the antibiotics or hormones used on our meat and animal products, certainly things like car exhaust and snowblower exhaust and lawnmower exhaust that we breathe in and inhale, even in small quantities, little by little, accumulate. And personal care products, things that we put on our skin, whether for women in particular, you put so many different things on your skin, like whether it's makeup or lotion or foundation or creams or perfumes, and so many different things accumulate into your bloodstream that you don't even realize, because whatever you put on your skin does absorb into your bloodstream. So it's one of my mentors always says, if you can't eat it, then don't put it on your skin. And it sounds kind of gross when it comes to personal care products and makeup and that category of products. However, the point is that if you can't ingest it in a healthy way, then you will be ingesting it just through your skin. So one of the things that is real important with regard to reproductive health is looking at this class of chemicals called endocrine disrupting chemicals. So according to the Endocrine Society, those are considered chemicals or mixtures of chemicals that interfere with the way the body's hormones work. They can cause alterations in sperm quality and fertility, abnormalities in sex organs, endometriosis, early puberty, nervous system abnormalities, along with growth, neurological, and learning disabilities. Some of the ways these EDCs, again, endocrine disrupting chemicals, the way these EDC chemicals affect hormones, again, these are ones that we'll find all day long in the chemicals we're exposed to, both at home and out in the world. They can mimic hormones and trick the body. They can block hormones. They can affect production, breakdown, and storage of hormones. They can change our sensitivity to different hormones, and they can also affect reproduction. And some of the issues here, even low level exposure of a fetus to these endocrine disrupting chemicals can affect things with regard to organ development, because there's a certain window when these organs are developing, and if we don't get that right, if that doesn't happen fully, then we can see birth defects and abnormalities or other consequences of that exposure. Things like low birth weight, altered development, disrupted sexual development, or weakened immune systems as a result of being exposed to these things. And in addition, even increased risk of various illnesses later in life as a result of being exposed to these. So it's a really, really important topic, not just for our current health as adults, but if you're trying to conceive, or if you're parents that are either trying to conceive a child, or you're actually you are pregnant, then we really have to watch our exposure to these things. So what I wanted to share with you were some of the realities that these do get transferred from mother to infant through breast milk, and even they accumulate in the fetal circulation. So the baby can be bathed in these things if mother's exposed. So while some of the consequences of this are not fully proven, it is best and it is wise to avoid exposure as much as possible. So some of the common ones that I would suggest that you avoid are found in processed foods, found in conventionally or non-organically grown foods, like meat, dairy, that are conventionally grown, that are not grass-fed and not organic. And in the household, avoid contact with pesticides and herbicides. Avoid children's toys that are made or have somehow lead in them, cadmium or phthalates. That's a big word, but basically it's a plastic derivative, and other plastics and food storage containers that have BPA in it. BPA is pretty common. You see on the bottom of water bottles, you'll see BPA free, but it's also important to avoid certain other plastics, especially when it's going to contain something that we're going to consume. If it's stored in plastic, especially the weaker, the thinner the plastic, the more leaching happens from that plastic into the food. So keep that in mind. Other things to avoid with regard to plastics are phenol. And then the category of personal care products, those also have phthalates. Now you spell phthalate PHTHALATE, phthalate. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Parabenes, UV filters that are found in sunscreen. Now again, you want to go out and you want to avoid being sunburned, but at the same time, some of these same chemicals in sunscreen are very damaging and harmful, and they can be endocrine disruptors, developmental disruptors for children, and for especially the unborn baby. Triclosan, which is found in antibacterial soap, should be avoided, and certain toothpastes that have triclosan as well. Perfluorochemicals, which are in textiles, clothing, non-stick food wrappers, microwave popcorn, and old Teflon cookware. So perfluorochemicals, those are PFCs. So there are many different types of those chemicals that we expose to. While they're everywhere in our environment, many of them are unavoidable. There are things that we can do to help to minimize our exposure, but we can also minimize, or I should say maximize, our ability to process them. And some of those specifically come around or are focused on our food. So with regard to that, try to get your fresh organic vegetables. Try to have organic grass-fed meats and livers. Liver is really good for you, and it helps. It has so many different nutrients in it. I was never a liver lover, but I learned to like it because I knew it was so good for me. So I started to blend it or mix it with ground beef to kind of break down the taste a little bit, and that might be a suggestion for you. But again, fresh organic vegetables, organic grass-fed meat and liver, pasture-raised eggs, wild-caught fish, Brazil nuts, sesame seeds, and sunflower seeds. And all these contain nutrients that help with DNA repair, which is also called DNA methylation, which is something that the DNA will do in response to environmental stresses. So it's real important that we address this. It's obviously a huge topic. There's so much we could talk about, but I wanted to give you this video to give you some insight into a very important category for helping you with reproductive health, both pre-conception as well as during pregnancy and even afterwards, because development doesn't stop with birth. It continues on, and the babies need to be protected and cared for with regard to toxic exposure. So if you are interested in more information, we would love to help you. If you'd like some guidance in this area and or some testing, we have blood tests that we can offer with regard to toxic exposure. And it's something that we'd love to be able to give you some more insight and information on. Please either click below or click the button so you can reach out to us.